What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, in this video, I wanted to take a step back and just take a broader perspective on what we, the community, as well as the team, have accomplished in the second quarter. And keep in mind, the second quarter, at least from a calendar year perspective, is not quite over yet. We do have until the end of June, so there's still some time, and we have the great burning that is currently in session, right? That'll run until the end of June. But the thing is, you look around the ecosystem, you look around map chat, Reddit, even here on this channel, there's been a lot of frustration, there's a lot of disappointment, there's a lot of salt thrown around sometimes, right? So hopefully we don't do too much of that here on this channel, but we try to stay constructive if we can. But that doesn't deny the fact that there's clearly a little bit of frustration happening over the last couple of months, and it has not been easy to be a Splinterlands player or Splinterlands community member, just simply due to the fact that we've seen massive decreases in asset values across the board. And we know why. I'm not going to get into that here. But despite the fact that we actually have had a very quiet Q2, and just to do a quick recap off the top of my head, we had really at the end of March, it was the first week of April, so we'll technically call it Q2, the launch of Land 1.0. There was a lot of hype. There was a lot of burning of DEC for what's that called? The surveys. We were doing a lot of different things here on this channel where we were doing group surveys. So there was a lot of hype there. There wasn't much else in April. Then we had the Zerial promo, which was kind of really the anchor thing for May. And then, outside of that, in terms of like major releases, I can't think of anything else that has come out. There's been a lot of expectation, and especially leading into June now, to not have much happen in April and in May. And then to get into June, and granted, the Great Burning has been a lot of fun, and I really am excited to see how it finishes off. But we were expecting so much more in June, right? So we were expecting so much more, and there's a chance, probably a strong chance, that we don't end up getting it. But that's not what I want to focus on. I'm just trying to call out the fact that it has been a difficult time. Yet, it has been incredibly productive in terms of burning a hell of a lot of DEC. So if you remember where we were earlier in the year, especially specifically after, we found randomly like 200 million or 160 million DEC under couch cushions, we were sitting at 6.4 million DEC at that time. So obviously leading into we had the DECB sale that was back in February, but leading into Land, we were still somewhere between 6.2 and 6.4 billion. So you look at this and consider that we've burned anywhere from 1.5 to 1.7 billion, or we'll say like roughly 25% of all DEC that is in circulation on Hive. And I think that's actually quite significant, right? Despite it's feeling like we haven't accomplished much, or the team hasn't released much, or whatever the case is, we've burned 25% of all DEC in circulation on Hive. Now, that's come from two main events, right? That's Land Phase 1, and then, of course, the Great Burning, the 5-year anniversary event that is currently still in session. And I think we're hopeful that we can burn another 50, 100, maybe 150 million from here, and see how, the fireworks potentially go towards the end of this event, which ends at the end of Q2. So again, I'm just trying to keep things in perspective here, because it may not seem like much has happened. And you're absolutely right. From a release perspective, it's been a lot of small releases and, maybe promos that people didn't really care about with something like Zerial or Great Burning event or whatever the case is. We haven't gotten a lot of the things that we were hoping we'd get, right? Guild upgrades and all that. But ultimately, it's still, in my opinion, been a very productive quarter for the ecosystem, for the game economy of Splinterlands, that should help to set us up for when a lot of the other dominoes start to fall or get put in place and then start to fall, right? Land, tower defense, hopefully whatever the game modes they can put in towards the end of the third quarter, maybe early fourth quarter. So this has been a frustrating yet, in my opinion, very quietly productive time for the game economy. And I know a lot of people, even Darkest Night, if he watches this video, he's going to be like, tokenomics, blah, 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 right? I get it. A lot of people don't really care about the tokenomics, but most do, I would say, or a good significant portion of the community does care about tokenomics. And the thing is, ultimately, tokenomics will really matter when we start to see a potential rise in asset values. It can only happen if we get the tokenomic structures right. So if we want to see SPS go up, we want to see DEC hit peg, we want to see card values start to rise, all of that begins with the tokenomics and getting that into a healthier place. So again, you think about the last 2 months, and really, we're still at the first third of June. So you think about this, and over the last 2 months, we have burned a significant amount of DEC. There's a chance that we burn a good portion more. And then we get land 1.5, which could lead to more burning, or lead to more DEC staking and actually have a utility for that. And I think it's setting us up to be in a good place. And it's one of those things where, people always talk about like, I worked 20 years to become an overnight success, right? I worked hard for 20 years to become an overnight success. Again, I'm not saying that we're going to be an overnight success and Slimline is going to go to the moon, but what people fail to realize is a lot of these things need to take place, and they happen in very boring times because it's not sexy, it's not whatever, but we've had to do that over the last couple of months, and maybe even this month continued on with the end of the Great Burning. And once we do, that could put us in a position to really, really benefit from a tokenomics perspective and really from an asset values perspective, right? Because everything to me ultimately comes back down to SPS, and then SPS, of course, is funneled in by DEC. So we get that DEC burn, we get that DEC supply constricted. People need to stop selling SPS. They'll need to burn it for DEC. And hopefully we get to a point where they don't just need to stop selling it, but they actually need to go out and buy it. And when we start doing that and we start raising the value of SPS, we start raising the utility of SPS, well, all of a sudden the rewards go up. We all, as current players, get really happy. A lot of prospective players or players who have left come back because they start to see the rewards are doing well. And because of that, you need cards to play. And there's a lot of cards out there. So hopefully we start to see those cards get eaten up, both by land, and then if tokenomics plays are effective with SPS going up, a lot of people coming in to play the game and earn SPS rewards, which will have hopefully a little bit of a life spiral, especially if it can be aided by a strong crypto rally sometime this summer or later this year. Again, that's not guaranteed, but if we do get a little pump, that would only help if it's a crypto narrative, if it's a Bitcoin narrative, metaverse gaming narrative, whatever it is, it would help the entire ecosystem. So there's a lot to look forward to. And I know it hasn't been a sexy couple of months, but there has been a lot of productivity from a tokenomics perspective. And I just wanted to make sure we shine a light on that and appreciated it for what it is. So that is all I have in this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on where we're at, where we might be going. And, if you think that DEC burn we've had in Q2 has been significant or not. But otherwise, I will catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.